and welcome to this presentation about Rosa Parks and the bus boycott. Not to be confused with Rosa Parks, but it's actually Rosa Park. As you clearly can see in this picture, you can see Rosa Parks waiting for the bus. The bus is arriving and she is getting on. And now she is sitting in front of this bus. But it's actually not true that she sat in front of the bus. She sat at the back where the blacks should be, but when white people come up to them and say, you need to move, I need to sit here, they, by law, need to move, but she didn't.
1955, when Rosa Parks was going home on a segregated bus, while she was sitting in the bus in an American African seat, she was told to move by a white American, and there by law she had to move, but she didn't, and she got 5 days in prison, I believe. But she was not actually the first person to do it. 9 months before, Claudette Colvin also did the same thing. But Rosa Parks was like the catalyst who set on she was the first one to actually, where the NAACP actually did something with it. She was like the spark that set the whole thing ablaze. But therefore she was awarded the honor as the First Lady of Civil Rights. Here you can see a photo from one of the bus boycotts where they actually did a protest. Like you can read on some of those posters, you can actually read "End segregation rules in public schools" and "We march to integrated schools now."
So about this bus boycott, as said before, it was a civil rights protest during which African Americans refused to ride city buses in Montgomery in Alabama to protest segregated seating, where black people needed to sit at the back or needed to go away from a white person's seat when told to. This was led by the NAACP, the National Association of the Advancement of Colored People. And this segregation protest went from December 5th, and this is 4 days after that Rosa Parks got arrested for not obeying white people, the white person, and it went to December 20, 1956. This is regarded as the first large-scale U.S. demonstration against segregation, and you can see on this picture a segregated bus where white people sit in the front and black people sit at the back.
Yeah, so a little about Rosa Parks. Rosa Parks was a black girl or woman in the US in the time where there was a lot of focus on the black people and white people be segregated, like in the buses. So the time on December 1st in 1955, the Rosa Parks refused to obey the order of the bus driver James Blake to give up a seat to make room for a white man in the non-white section, because that day she sat in the back of the bus in the colored section, but the white section was full, so the white passengers could say to the black people that they need to move, and then they should move. But here Rosa Parks refused to move and follow the driver's orders, so he called the police and Rosa Parks was arrested.
Yes, the NAACP, like we said before, is the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. Like just before the Montgomery bus cut, the NACP had actually won a very important case. In the case of Brown versus the Board of Education, here a couple of parents decided to go to, what do you call it, court for some board of directors because they didn't believe that the segregation held the equal rights to education. That means that they argued that the education they got when they were segregated was not the same the whites got. Like the black kids didn't get the same education because of this segregation. And actually, at first, it was they were denied because they didn't think that it mattered. But then, actually, the Supreme Court took it up again, and they ruled in favor of Brown and the other parents. And then we have when the Montgomery bus cut actually happened. Of course, the people still needed to go to their jobs, and therefore the NACP made a carpool system where some drivers would drive the people to work, but this was actually illegal as the US saw it. So therefore, some of them were arrested, and they were arrested because it was like picking up hitchhikers, which you were not allowed to do in the US. And some others would get arrested for loitering because they were waiting for the car and you couldn't do that for some reason. And those rules made it hard, but they held on, and the Montgomery boycott went on for a full year with this kind of system after the US court, the Supreme Court, finally ruled the segregation was unconstitutional, which means it had to end. And then we also had some important people which the NACP worked with, like Martin Luther King Jr. or Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and like some other influential people. They were organizing the boycott, like, I said before.
Rosa Parks, you can draw some parallels to Langston Hughes' poem, I Too. So I'm gonna read it up here. I too sing America. I am the darker brother, they sent me to the kitchen. When company comes, but I laugh and eat well and grow strong. In this text, this bit of text, you can make parallels to when Rosa Parks didn't move to the back of the seats. Like when he said, when the company comes, because he's the darker brother, he needs to go to the kitchen. Here you can make a parallels to when the white people comes and said to Rosa Parks, you need to move to another seat. So tomorrow I'll be at the table when company comes. Nobody dare say to me, eat in the kitchen then. And here you can make parallels to when she said she wouldn't move and she will stay in the seat, like he would stay at the table to eat with the other peoples instead of eating in the kitchen. So the last part is, besides, they'll see how beautiful I am and be ashamed. And here you can make the parallels to when Rosa Parks said that they mean something like this. The black people means some things to the world, if you can say so. So in the whole perspective, you can make very many parallels to Rosa Parks in this poem, like the treatment the blacks in America got. Rosa was sent to the back of the bus, like I said, while Langston was sent to the kitchen, as I said before.